That's right. I'm coming to you live from the Waco, Austin area of Texas. I'm Dallisa Hawking, the CEO of Spirit and Spark, fifth generation psychic medium. I come to you each and every week here on YouTube and let you know what's happening, what's coming your way. I know a lot of you are feeling like you are just down in some trenches right now. But I'm going to give you a little bit about what I see for the energy for this week. And then I am delighted to bring back Kate Wind. She's a fantastic astrologer based in Las Vegas. And so I'll be bringing her on in just a couple of minutes. Make sure you share this link with your friends, your family, your coworkers. Invite them to join us. We can navigate these volatile times a little bit easier when we know what's happening. So let's get started. All right. Like always, please go ahead and comment. Let me know where you're watching from today. Where are you tuning in from? Little baby kitty Frankie is somewhere around here. She's been crawling up my legs. So if you see me go, ah, during the broadcast, you'll know why. Her claws are very sharp. So welcome in, everybody. Carmel, thanks so much for joining as a patron. Really appreciate it. So keep those comments coming in. Thank you to Dr. Paul. I was on his radio show today, impactradiousa.com. So thanks. Special shout out to Dr. Paul for having me on his radio show. We had a great conversation. I'll be back with him again later this year to talk about my 2022 predictions. As I mentioned, Kate Wind, the astrologer, is going to be joining me in just a couple of minutes, so stay tuned. I love talking to her about the astrological weather and what is happening, because I feel like we're just being hit over the head. Comment on the live stream or comment below if you're watching the replay and let me know, how are you feeling right now? Okay, there's going to be a gift that I'm going to give away that's a gift with me, from me, later in the broadcast. So make sure you watch this all the way through. There is going to be a deadline that you can redeem this free gift from me, all right? Christina is starting her Ready for Love 21-day program. She's a phenomenal RTT hypnotherapy practitioner based in Southern California. And if you are ready for love, this is the time to sign up and take her class. If you get our text alert, you will have received that notification in your text inbox this morning. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can text the word expand, EXPAND, to 33222. All right. Let's see here. Oh yeah, Oracle class card. It's complimentary for all Spark Plug members. The next class is tomorrow night, so make sure you tune in for that, Spark Plug members. If you're not a member yet, go to spiritandspark.com and click on the Spark Plug. And Spark Plug members, your weekly video is uploaded into your portal, so you can go ahead and take a look at that today. You had really great questions about, oh, how do I say this without getting flagged? International affairs, domestic affairs, things that go in your arm, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so there's a couple things going on that we'll be talking to Kate about. Mercury retrograde's coming up. We've got a full moon coming up. But I even asked Kate, I'm like, listen, can you just give us like your thoughts on what's headed our way, bigger picture wise? Because we have a huge aspect coming up with Pluto in the United States. So I think she's going to share a little bit more about that. So here's what I want to tell you, and then Kate will come on, and then I'll give you the free gift, and we'll do the card of destiny, the Oracle card for this week. So we got a couple things in today's show. Okay, so for this week, what I wrote down and channeled through is I want you to look at the bigger picture. You'll likely find out something this week, where you're going to feel like, wait, what? Like kind of a little bit of a blind side. However, if you really just kind of sat there and looked at it, you'd think, oh, yeah, yeah, I felt like that was going to happen. I had an inkling. I had a little nudge. So take a beat and pay attention to what's going on and what your strategic path forward is going to be. This is not the week where I would say to you, like, just say whatever comes in. Like, don't go blurting off at the mouth. Really kind of be more strategic this week. It's likely going to be something that feels surprising, but like I said, it's not going to be like new if you were paying attention. It'd be something that just kind of emerges a little bit more. So it's okay to be optimistic this week. You have permission to be optimistic. But I do feel that there's potential for some emotional kind of stinging. So maybe Kate will have some insight as to why we might feel a little bit bruised or battered emotionally right now, or why we might feel like there's a little bit of betrayal energy in the air. Unexpected changes, we're kind of used to that, right? The year of the 5 in numerology, we're kind of used to these turns and dives and falling off cliffs and all that jazz, right? So we know that's to be expected. So this week I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to accomplish? Not so much what other people want you to accomplish. What do you need to do this week? This is about you, not other people. Don't overreact. Be strategic, like I said. I want you to be nice this week. We should be nice every day, right? But it's challenging right now. A lot of hard times, a lot of, right? Where's Frankie at with her claws? Kind of like that energy, right? Just try to slow down this week and just be kinder, all right? This week is not going to destroy you. Last week did not destroy you. We're going to keep going. We're going to move forward, and everything's going to be great. But we've got some stuff to get through. There's a bit of a rough patch, but focus on today and don't get too ahead of yourself. Don't be thinking, oh, what's next month going to be like? What's next year going to be like? I want you to focus on today, all right? Trial and error. You know, if you've got a little bit more error right now, then don't move too quickly. Take your time, pause, take some deliberate action, and don't be hasty. So be deliberate and be strategic this week. It's not the week to go running off at the mouth, okay? If you have new projects that you are birthing out into the world, you may find that there are a few bumps in the road with that this week. And I know we're on Wednesday because I'm coming to you Wednesday instead of our typical Mondays. So just kind of think of this as like the rest of the week, all right? So don't throw in the towel. Just focus on today. Focus on this moment. Watch where your relationships may be out of balance. Some of the ways this could be showing up for you is questions around vulnerability, jealousy or possessiveness, loss of power, that you might be creating drama or a problem or a crisis just to feel alive. So I want you to ask yourself if you're doing any of those things. You could feel a bit like you want to dabble in something more mysterious or unusual, but Frankie's crawling up my side. But yeah, there's going to be a renewed commitment to life and what you want to do, your duty, and how you want to move things forward in your life. So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you my free gift after we talk to Kate. So make sure you stay tuned. I'm going to bring Kate on. And yeah, I loved what Astrology Hub said earlier when I was reading one of their emails. They said it's kind of like a good old Nancy Drew mystery book, what we're living in right now. Like you're kind of like trying to uncover the truth. You're trying to move forward and you keep like moving things away and understanding people's motives and what's happening. And you just kind of keep like uncovering. So listen, there's surprises around every corner and we're all living our own Nancy Drew mystery book right now. So with that, let's go ahead and bring Kate on. Hello, Kate.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you could be here today.
Me too.
Oh, we got a lot to talk about. Did that stuff make sense?
Yes. I had an order that I was going to talk about things, but I thought, let me just kind of piggyback on something you were saying about being nicer. And I know it's such a simple thing to say, but Mars just moved into Libra yesterday. It'll be there until October 30th. So we do experience this every year, kind of around the same time. But this is about being a little bit more diplomatic, a little bit more fair, kind of taking that, I'm going to say, nice guys approach, right? And so we think about the scales from Libra, right? And Mars is the action. And so you might be looking at things from all angles. You might have a nicer, kinder energy that you're giving with it. Of course, on the worst side, it can be passive aggressive. So I do just caution about that. But I do think we're ushering in some very nice energy with Mars moving into Libra this week. So
well, that's good. We all want to be nicer. I've not been so nice the last couple of days. Yeah. And it's right in alignment, I feel like, with this energy right now, with this Nancy Drew mystery book, where you kind of expect one thing and then you walk in and you go, wait, what? And then you, like then you have more pieces and then you get your magnifying glass out. And I thought that analogy was so perfect.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah. So walk us through, like, because to me, the energy feels really heavy right now. When I looked at it, I would say about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I asked Spirit, okay, well, what are we in for? And they said middle of September, like all through October feels really heavy.
Yeah.
But you're the astrologer and you look at like the actual layouts, and I'm looking at the energy field. So I love when we match up, and we do. So what's going on right now?
So, well, there's a lot going on. I'm going to start kind of smaller scale and I'll work it out a little bit bigger if you don't mind, because we are in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. I feel like as astrologers, this is played out. We have to understand all the planets retrograde. Right now, as we speak, we have Jupiter, we have Saturn, we have Uranus. There might even be one more that I'm forgetting, right? And Mercury retrograde. So this isn't, Mercury gets all the bad rap, but I do want to talk about it because the idea is I want you to imagine yourself walking backwards. And walking backwards, you have to think about it. Think if you're on the treadmill and you're like, oh, I'm going to walk on the treadmill backwards, I don't know, to like tighten up the glutes or something, right? You really have to be conscious and aware of it. And when the planets are in retrograde, that's really what is happening. We can't just go about things in our normal way and expect them to still happen the same. Okay. So in particular with Mercury retrograde, we're here. I know it can be dreaded. So many people say, oh, don't travel, don't buy a new phone, don't buy a new car, your technology is going to go awry. And sure, those things can happen. And my thought for you, I'll say, is just be extra cautious with double checking. Think about walking backwards. Okay. Just take a couple extra steps to reconfirm, to read the contract, to double check the dates that you're traveling, to double check to make sure the event is still on. And with all the energies, if we're using the energy based on its natural ability, then we can really benefit from it. So Mercury retrograde rules anything that begins with re. So if you're thinking of reorganizing, redoing, reassessing, rethinking, reviewing, all of those things are supported. So I say, like, make a list this week, 5 things that maybe have been on your list that you've been meaning to do. Oh, I've been meaning to call to look at that subscription that keeps renewing and I keep forgetting about it, right? And I'm paying for it, right? Or maybe projects that have been piling up. Okay, let me review it and see if I still want to do this. Anything as well, like renewing license, whether that's your driver's license, whether that's your business license, anything like that, it's supported because we're redoing, right? We're kind of taking the energy and using it to our advantage, because instead of us having to redo something, we're actively finding something we want to renew, review, redo. If you bump into, of course, any exes, people from the past,
not here, not my small town.
Right. That can happen as well. So I just say, be kind to yourself during this time, right? And just take that extra few steps. And I wouldn't take anyone showing up during this time too seriously from the past. So that is where I wanted to start with it. I know it's not tons of fun to talk about, but we are here.
Yeah, the Mercury retrograde, we're already in the shadow period, right? So like, when do we kind of get out of this now?
So the exact dates for it officially retrograde September 27th, but like you said, we're in the shadow period. It'll go through October 18th. Then technically November 2nd will be the last day of the after shadow of it. So it's, and it happens 3 times a year. Again, we're used to this. I don't want people to freak out about it, but it can trip us up. So knowing how to use the energy, I do think is very beneficial.
Interesting. Okay, beautiful. Well, yeah, where do you want to go next with this? Because you said Mars went into Libra, right?
Mars went into Libra. I think maybe something, if we want to talk a little bit bigger scale, if you don't mind. We still have the full moon this week, so we'll talk about that. But just to some of the points that you were talking about the mystery or kind of the not knowing what's going on. And one of the big themes for 2021 has been this square that we're seeing between Saturn and Uranus. And so we're playing this out on a larger scale. And then, of course, all of our individual charts, we're playing this out as well in some area. But Saturn is the known. Saturn's the authority figure. Saturn is what has always stood. And it's coming up against Uranus, which is pretty wild. Uranus is like, the Aquarian child, right? It goes out of order. And so when we see these two clashing, I think that's where we're really seeing a lot of this controversy, right? Or that kind of the two sides, and we're playing it out, unfortunately, like me against you almost, right? Or state against state. And it's becoming more and more rapid. So I do say this is a year to expect the unexpected when we see these two things, and we see things that have stood forever that we thought, oh, we'll always have that. That'll always be the law. That will always be the right thing to do. And Uranus is coming and saying, haha, no way, right? I'm not going to stand for this structure. I want things to be crazy and wild, and I want us to think outside of the box.
Yeah, let me ask you a question that's coming to mind with that, because you and I were chatting backstage before we went live today, and I was mentioning how social media, you get on there anymore these days, and it's one group, against another group, and my question about that would be then, from an astrological standpoint, the people that may be going more the traditional route versus the people that may be going more rebellious, or this is the new. Mm-hmm. Do you think that it has to do with the placement in their natal birth chart of like, are they being more influenced by one planet versus another?
Absolutely. I just off the top of my head, I can't think of something that would be just a good blanket statement to give an example of, but we have to look at the slower moving planets when we see that. And, I'm 36, right? And when I was younger and I would see like older people, I'd be like, I'm never going to be like that. Right. And then you get older, and then it's kind of like, we're all on the same page, right? All the people that are my age that said, we're never going to be like that, we're now a certain way. So we have to look at the slower moving planets, because everyone in our age range was born with these slower moving planets, and it can give us bigger themes to each group. So that's an interesting way to look at, like, okay, Gen Z versus baby boomers versus, we have to look at those slower moving planets.
Yeah, fascinating.
Yeah. And I think to your other point about this divide that we're seeing is, we've been hearing about the age of Aquarius for a while now, but astrologers are having a hard time coming to a conclusion. We're not all agreeing on when we entered the age of Aquarius, or even if we have, right? And so when you talk about energies that are hundreds and hundreds of years, like age of Aquarius, we're just leaving age of a Pisces, that there's some overlap where we're feeling the new energy coming in, but we still are kind of feeling that old energy. Pisces was all about the blind belief. And I mean, I know even in my lifetime, we've seen religion kind of start fading out. Not to take away from religion. I was raised right with a Catholic upbringing, but we're moving more towards factual. We're moving into this Aquarius side. And so we're really seeing this divide with this bigger energy that we're going through as an entire world, right? Not just the state of California, or not just the state of Nevada.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Because I keep seeing the Civil War energy, revolution, people revolting. There's just a lot of heaviness going on. But yeah, the divisiveness between the groups is something as I mentioned to you backstage, I'm like, this is a great case study, because you could look at this years from now and be like, wow, how did one person turn against another person? And what was the facts? What was the illusion? What was real? What wasn't? What was based on blind belief, right? And what was based off of here's the evidence, right? So we are in wild, wild west times.
I know. But it's interesting because, like, in the past, right, people just believed in God or religion or what the government said. And now, as we move into Aquarius or get settled into Aquarius, wherever, we kind of feel like we are in that timeline, we're requiring proof. We're not willing to just take people's word for it anymore. Now, we're seeing that because it is such a big energy. It gets played out on a larger level, of course, with government, with celebrities, right? Because they exaggerate the energies. We are playing it out on our individual lives, but the storylines aren't as fun, right? They're not as large.
Yeah.
So it is. Well, we are moving into an era where we want proof. We're not willing to just, oh, you said that, I believe it. Oh, there's a God or whatever. Is there?
Interesting. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know we all signed up to be alive right now, and what a time to be here. I was drunk when I signed up.
Right, absolutely.
I'm gonna have a chat with my spirit team when I get back over there to be like,
Yeah.
yeah. What
And
else is going on? Yeah.
Well, the other big thing, if we're not just talking about this week, is we are approaching our Pluto return for the US. So we've never experienced this before. And just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm talking about is Pluto was in a certain spot when the USA was founded, and it has now made its way all the way around the wheel, and it's coming back to the exact point that it was when we were signed into a country. And so, like I said, we've never experienced this as the US. It's hard to find other countries that have been through this and have the same borders, the same government rulings. So that's kind of scary, because it takes 240 something years to get around. I do feel like we've been feeling this energy. The exact date is February 22nd, 2022. So am I trying to predict something's crazy is going to happen on that exact day? I'm hoping not, because Pluto gets to the roots of the issue, right? Pluto brings things up. And what have we seen, right? These last couple of years, we've seen the Me Too movement. We've seen people of color rise. We've had conversation. We've seen statues being torn down, right? We've been going back to where we were founded and reassessing, was that the truth? What we were like? Were we founded on correct or truthful history, morals, whatever it is, right? And a lot of that's been coming up, and that's super uncomfortable. Pluto is not comfortable. Pluto makes us look at the facts, the things that we've been pushing down, the things that we've been covering. So I want you to think of like a beautiful tree, right? We could think of that as our country, and then all the roots underneath. Yeah. And so the trees being pulled out, we're exposing the roots of it. So again, not comfortable. It's just another piece of it if we're talking about the big story of things. And every single day we are getting closer to that Pluto return, right? And every single day we have been getting closer to the third and final Saturn-Uranus conjunction that will happen on December 24th. So just when I see everyone's comments saying, like, oh my gosh, this year has been crazy. We thought 2020 was crazy. Why does this feel even maybe worse in some cases? That there are bigger energies that are really affecting, right, us on playing out on a very personal level.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought up the Christmas Eve energy. And then we go into, you said it was 2/22/22, right?
Yeah.
For the direct hit for the Pluto return for the United States.
Yeah.
So I look at that.
I know. Just the numbers
right?
alone.
You're like, wait, what? You got Christmas Eve, and then like, not even 2 months later, you're getting like the direct hit of Pluto. And Pluto is like, to me, like a no BS energy, like change maker. So when you see those two, the Saturn-Uranus square on Christmas Eve and then the Pluto return direct hit for the United States together so closely, is there anything that kind of comes to mind on, like, do you think we're going to get like something really big that starts happening?
I'm a human as well. And so it worries me. I don't necessarily have a prediction for it, because I like to think that all of this energy has been preparing us for the next thing. But without getting too political, what's happened here with us pulling out of other countries and things, like, it could be a worry for sure that there could be something that happens.
Yeah.
Because it has to be something big enough. And that's like, if we go back to 2020, right? We had Pluto and Saturn lining up. And as astrologers, we were saying, wow, 2020 is going to bring something. And when they said just the 2 weeks originally, right, I was thinking 2 weeks isn't long enough for any of us to make a big difference in our life, right? When those two planets came together. So it's like, this can't just be 2 weeks, because after 2 weeks, we would have all just gone back to normal. None of us would even been thinking about just a 2 week sector or span, I'll say, in 2020, right? it's something that's drawn out. It's something that we will go back to and be like, remember 2020 or 2021, what kind of changes those brought? So I do think that it's not just one event that happens. It's something that is either a change that goes into effect, something that is long lasting, it's impactful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I read the energy the same way. I don't think we can come out. Let me put it this way, that we're going to be in March of 22 and be like, hey, that was nothing. Like, we just breezed through. I don't know what Kate and Dallisa were talking about. It's crazy.
I would. Like, yeah, I hope. I hope.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, really, it'd be great if everything was just like smooth sailing. All the doors were open. Everyone was happy and healthy, and we're out running around being renegades. Like, that would be awesome. But the astrology does not back that up. And what I see really aligns closely with the astrology. So we have to really take that into consideration.
Yeah. I've seen someone saying about, like, let's assume like it ends the toxic energy, right? We can move forward and be kind. I would probably associate that more with when we see Pluto move into the sign of Aquarius, which I didn't prepare to come to talk about. So I think it's 2023, if not 2024. So we're pretty close to it, but we have to think, like, we saw Pluto move into Capricorn. Was it 2007? Don't quote me on this again. I didn't come prepared. I didn't come with all my notes
You're
on
fine.
this. But Capricorn is the rising, right? It's the government, it's the corporations. And so it's all about building and structure. And as we see it move into Aquarius is all about the people. So if we look at 2023 or 2024, whenever that happens, I might think, wow, there might be something like a universal paycheck. There might be more like community gardens, that we'll be getting back to things where we are really connected together. And it takes a lot of the power away from the corporations and the governments.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I feel like the energy is a lot of heavy hitters, a lot of change makers in these next couple of years. And I look at it in 2025 still feels heavy for me. So I think we got a few more years we got to get through until we get to that kind of release of the toxic energy. Yeah.
So I can dial it back in just for this week. I didn't see any questions come up about kind of these energies, but September 16th and 17th. So I think that's already starting tomorrow. Venus and Saturn are going to be making a square to each other. So I do say that can sometimes take the love out of things. It might add a little stress to your love life. You might be kind of tightening your wallets a little bit, so avoiding some frivolous spending. So it can make us feel isolated, maybe sad, can just put a small strain on relationships. It's only 2 days. So again, it's nothing too crazy, but that is one of the energies of the week, which I think you kind of spoke to in your prediction prior to me coming on, a little bit of a strain this week with friendships. And then we're coming up on the full moon on September 20th. It's at 28 degrees of Pisces, which is exciting. So if you know your astrological chart, you can find where does 28 Pisces sit in your chart. That way you can get some deeper understanding of how it will affect you. But the full moon acts as a flashlight. So it's putting a spotlight on what you need to see. So I say, take things seriously that kind of come to light under this energy, right? The universe is providing us with this big light. It's like saying, okay, what do you need to see, right? Bring it on stage. Let's acknowledge it. So the fact that it's in Pisces, it should be really good for optimism, for generosity. It should give us some open-mindedness. I love Pisces because it can be definitely a little magical. There could be some little, what I want to say, like little mini miracles when we see the full moon in Pisces. So if you have a ritual that you do for the full moon, that's awesome. If you're new to it and you're just wondering, like, how do I even get started? Right? You can charge your crystals outside. So you can put crystals outside to recharge them. But I like to just take whatever I'm working on and put it under the moon. So if I'm working on my relationship, I take a picture of me and my partner, right? And put it outside and just have like the moon, like bless it, however, charge it, whatever you want, whatever you believe, right? To give it energy. And so you can do that. Maybe you're struggling with money, right? So you put like a checkbook out there. Maybe you're struggling to get clients. So you put your calendar out there. Yeah, right. Maybe you put it all out there.
I got a big old backyard now. I'm going to stick everything out there.
Yeah, but just be intentional about what you're asking the universe to shed some light on or give some energy to, depending on what, or Brandy suggested moon water. That's also a great way to use the energy. But I do think this full moon is all about staying on course and really being undistracted from these goals. So we got it. We'll get through it. And then the end of the week, we end with moving out of Virgo season into Libra season.
Oh, well, that's good. Yeah, that full moon on Monday sounds really beautiful.
Yeah.
We got to get through these next couple of days of maybe some relationship challenges and really needing to be nice and keep our mouth shut. And then we go into the full moon on Monday. So it feels like we're getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. And the full moon energy, you can start taking advantage of that a few days prior to the full moon. I've had clients reach out before and say, oh no, I put it out the prior day and then I saw your post and I thought the full moon was last night, because it gets confusing there at the end. It looks super full, but it's not. So, if you're not available that Monday night, do it Sunday night. Absolutely.
Oh, I love that. So Libra season. Whenever I think of Libras, I think of the scales and balance and, what do you think that maybe a big change or what we might notice the shift will be going from Virgo to Libra?
Well, so Virgo is halfway through the astrology, the zodiac signs. So I know that's kind of confusing because we start our year in January, but in astrology, we started at the sign of Aries. So Virgo is halfway through, and Virgos get the name of being like a perfectionist, that they are very tidy with things, and it kind of makes sense because like we're halfway through the zodiac sign, so Virgo has to come up and say like, "Yo, is this how we're going to run the rest of the year?" Like that's to kind of get us back on track. So it has to be a little bit of the gatekeeper, maybe even the bouncer, because we're going into some indulgent energies, I'll say, when we move into Libra and the holidays, of course. And so Virgo has to get us back on track. We might spiral out of control if Virgo wasn't here to get us, to get organized, maybe get our emails together, etc. And so as we move into Libra, they're ruled by the scales. But, I do think Libras, and no offense to any of my Libras listening, I love my Libras. I'm an air sign as well, but they can be some of the more imbalanced people, meaning that when they get into something, they go all in, right? That it can consume them. Of course, they could be, oh, I'm a big consumer. Oh, I love to eat, whatever it is, that they can be out of balance in it. So I think Libras can be some of the most fun people because that I say, if you're hosting a party, oh my gosh, let the Libra do it. Because there's gonna be like tons of food, tons of decorations, right? They can go all in with that energy. So I personally.
Oh, I love that. That's such a great tip. Normally I think of like Sagittarius or Geminis because I'm Sag, Sun, Gemini rising. And I always think like, ooh, Sagittarius and Geminis, let's plan the party,
Yeah.
But I never would have thought about that Libra. So I'm going to put a couple of Libra friends in my back pocket.
Oh, we have some Libras chiming in. Yep. Excess. I do everything in extremes. No joke. I can totally agree with that. Totally depend. Yeah. So again, I'm surrounded by Libra, so I love it. But I'm like, we need to stop saying they're so balanced. I think they're fair. I do think that they can be very diplomatic in their talk. But when it comes to doing something, they're all in.
I'm going to note that down in pen.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it. So you and I have had sessions before. You've looked at my chart, and I talked to you, I think it was the very beginning of this year. I may be mistaken on the exact time, but I had you look at my chart and I said, okay, what's going on here? Because I could feel that there was a change coming. Could have been late last year. And you did. You walked me through like, here's the energies that are showing up for you this year. Here's what I think you're going to end up experiencing or what you're going to be returning to this year. And it was very, very helpful. And I can say, sitting here 9, 10 months later. And what you said all those months ago really did line up with how the energy played out. So I just wanted to give you some kudos for that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Isn't it wild? Because, at the time, that's the hard part about astrology. Sometimes I think astrology is better to talk about it in the past, which kind of sounds contradictory because you're an astrologer, you're supposed to predict, right? But it's like when I tell people, oh, this is what you've been under the last year, they're like, oh my gosh, yes, 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 yes. When we're talking about the future, sometimes we're like, how is that going to play out? Or no, that's not really what I wanted to do. Right. And then you go back and you listen and you think, oh my gosh.
Yeah. I love astrology. It's one of my favorite things to study and read about and learn about. And I'm definitely an amateur, but maybe one day we'll have a really in-depth conversation about the transits.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have a couple of people saying Capricorns are great planners. Absolutely. I'm not taking away anyone else's ability to plan, but Libras, they're just the excess. So they're not just going to bring like one of something. They're going to be like, everyone needs one, right? Or
yeah, they're not going to bring one bottle of champagne. They'll bring a case.
Yep, exactly.
Exactly. And I'll bring the straws.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And the Capricorns will already have the platter or the ice ready to put them in. So like we all work together.
I love how everyone just brings their own flavor to the mix of life. And
I know.
And we're all in this together. There's a lot of volatility and challenge right now, but we're all going through it. It's not like you're going through it and I'm not. Everybody is being hit with the same energy. So
very true.
I loved having you on. Before we let you go, though, please tell everybody where to find you. You do sessions regularly. You keep yourself very, very busy. Yeah. But let everybody know, like social media, website, where can they connect with you at?
Absolutely. So you can find me on Facebook or Instagram at _, and my name, Kate Wind. I have a website, thekatewind.com. And then I do run a podcast with my mom. I'm a second generation astrologer, Feng Shui consultant. And so you can find us on your favorite podcast app under Mom and Me Astrology.
I love it.
Yeah.
The fabulous Kate Wind. Thank you so much for being on today's show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
We'll have you back again soon, I promise.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye.
Kate Wind, I love her. She's fantastic. I was connected to her through some mutual friends, and she's just delightful. So go check her out on social media and her website, thekatewind.com. So Kate Wind, thanks for being a part of today's show. We got a couple of final things we've got to do today. I'm going to pull your card of destiny. This is going to be your oracle card. Please excuse me while I get them out of the bag. You can tell I'm a little scattered with this move, right? So here's the deck. I'm going to pull whatever card message we need for this week. And then I'm going to show you what your free gift is that I'm going to give you. And you have 48 hours. So today is the 15th. You have until September 17th. Let's just say, let's see what time. We'll do 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So you just have to do it today, tomorrow, or Friday. All right. To get your free gift. But let's do the card. Okay. So these cards are Sharon Jeffers. They're the cards of destiny. They're based off of a standard deck of playing cards. And if you redeem for the free gift, I am going to email you a card from this deck through email. And it'll be a message that the universe wants you to hear. So I'm going to show you how to redeem that in just a second. Okay. So we got the 3 of diamonds for our message for this week. Feelings of being uncentered or ungrounded, if not kept in check, can lead to chaos and confusion. If there is a decision to be made, clarity must be sought first. Strategic mindset. Okay. Clarity must be sought. Gather whatever information you need to make you comfortable. Then wait to take action until it feels like the timing is right for you. Physical movement can help to bring your mind back into focus. One must be whole with oneself to make a clear decision. Perhaps the lesson to be learned has to do with having clearer boundaries and making the choice to lead the way with what you know is right for you. Your greatest self-expression emerges from your authenticity. think outside the box, because the further you go in that direction, outside the box, the greater your success will be. Your uniqueness is your magic wand. So if you would like me, I have like 10 or 15, I have of these on file that I selected. If you want me to send you one, and what I'll do is you'll send in your request, I'll tune into your energy, and I'll pick the cards that the universe wants me to send to you via email. So here's how you're going to do that. You're going to go over to the website, and you're going to click on the contact page, and you're going to fill out the little form and just say, I want Dallisa's card. And if you spell my name wrong, that's okay. I want Dallisa's card, and then I'll send it to you. But the deadline is going to be 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern this Friday, the 17th of September. So you have 48 hours to redeem. So go to the website, and in the menu, click on Contact. And in the form, just fill out the form and say, I want Dallisa's card right there. Yep, beautiful. I want Dallisa's card. I'll email it back to you. If you do not see it in your spam folder, or if in your regular folder, please check your spam folder because it could be there. And please do me a huge favor. If you could please share the link to this video with 3 to 5 friends, family members, coworkers, encourage them to watch this. I greatly appreciate it. We're really trying to get you better prepared of what's going on out there so that you're not alone and you don't feel like you have to navigate this all by yourself. You don't. We're all going through this together, and let's keep coming together as a collective community. Spark Plug members, go and check out your exclusive video in your portal right now where I talk about all kinds of things I can't say on here. For more information, make sure you go to spiritandspark.com. You can request your session there as well with myself or a member of my team. And if you want our text alerts, just like what we sent out earlier today, and we're giving away a prize in our text messages today, text the word expand to 33222. Thank you, everybody, and thanks again to my special guest, Kate Wind. We will see you again soon. Bye from Texas.